All right, everybody, welcome to Virtual Bourbon. My name is Steve Akley. I own a company called the ABV Network. Please check us out at abvnetwork.com. And we've got a great event today. It's called the Ultimate Christmas Bourbon Tasting. And we've been doing some of these here following the big Christmas holiday. And the idea is it's a great gifting thing to give some really high-end whiskey items for Christmas, a tasting to those. And then right the 5 days following Christmas, starting tonight, the 26th, all the way through the 30th inclusive, we're going to be doing these events where we're going to be doing some great whiskey tasting. So hopefully we'll see you guys on some other of these upcoming events as well. So we have a fun event tonight because we're going to be trying 4 items out of the Weller family and then Old Rip Van Winkle as well. If you don't mind, we always like to pour a little bit and just let it sit for a little bit. So let's go ahead and pour the first one we're going to be tasting tonight, which is your Weller Special Reserve, the 90 proof offering. Just pour that and set it aside for a second. I've got some history I want to share, and we'll do that before we start our whiskey tasting. When we get to the whiskey tasting, it is kind of interactive. We'll talk about nosing and tasting notes. And we like to go through that kind of 2 times. We'll go through all 5 of our offerings twice. We'll taste them, nose them, taste them twice, talk about that. And then after we do that, we'll vote on what is our favorite. So no science here or anything like that. So this isn't a blind tasting, but at the end of the night, just for fun, we'll vote on which was our favorite, and we'll see what was the favorite of the night. So should be interesting. All right. So once you got that poured, just again, set that aside for just a second. We'll be talking about it very soon, but I want to talk just a little bit about history. So when you're talking about Weller, it goes back to 1825. That's when a guy by the name of William LaRue Weller was born. He was in the military. He fought in the Louisville Brigade is the name of the unit he fought in. And once he got out of the military, he decided to get into the liquor business. So his first job out of the military was in Louisville, Kentucky, and he started a wholesale liquor company. So once you get going with that, though, you realize that you can close the distribution gap by then creating the whiskey as well. Again, this is before 3-tier system, all that kind of stuff. Not necessarily, depending on your state, may or may not be able to do that today, but he decided to also begin distilling. So the product he made was a unique one for sure. He came out with a wheated bourbon. So a wheated bourbon, of course, we know that the rules of bourbon, a bourbon must be at least 51% corn, but then the secondary grain is typically at that time was always, rye. So it was, rye was the secondary grain. Well, he came up with the idea of doing wheat as the secondary grain. And it's largely known as the first wheated bourbon. Now that certainly bourbon lore, bourbon history, is it able to fully document that? Absolutely not. Matter of fact, there's even a product on the market called David Nicholson 1843, which is a wheated bourbon based out of St. Louis, Missouri, came out of. And of course, that was a wheated bourbon too, 6 years before William LaRue Weller came out. But let's just say the first large scale offering truly was William LaRue Weller, because even if you say that David Nicholson was before that, and we could in fact absolutely prove that, it wasn't on the large scale. It was just really a local product offered in St. Louis only. So William LaRue Weller came up truly with the first large scale wheated bourbon again in 1849. He owned the company up until his death in 1899. And afterwards, his sons took over, but I don't know that they had the passion that he did. And ultimately, they would sell the company out to 2 of their employees, a guy by the name of Alex Farnsley, a salesperson, and then now a Kentucky Bourbon Hall of Famer, by the way. And then another one that you probably definitely heard of, no matter what your interest level in bourbon is, and that's Pappy Van Winkle, the inspiration for the well-known product today. So Pappy ran the company. They took it all the way through Prohibition. They had a medicinal license that they worked out with P.H. Stitzel Company, and they sold products through Prohibition. And after Prohibition, they opened up the Stitzel Weller Distillery, the combining of those 2 companies. And that, of course, became a powerhouse in the world of bourbon. Some say that as you go back through the years, some of the best bourbon that has ever been made was made by Stitzel Weller, a company that, again, Fred's got his thumbs up there, and it's hard to dispute that. They make some really good stuff, that's for sure. It's a fun debate, but really, really good stuff. Pappy would run the company all the way up. He was involved up until his death in 1965. At that point, his son Julian Van Winkle Jr. took over. And, he was running the company from 65 to 72 in 1972. And I don't think it was a real happy time for the Van Winkle family. It kind of got snatched out from underneath them, kind of a hostile takeover, if you will. Family members gathered stock again after Pappy passes away. The company stock gets divided up. Julian Van Winkle was supposed to continue to run the company, but he had a minority share at that point. He didn't have the bulk of the shares like Pappy when he had it all together. And ultimately, the company got sold out from underneath him. He still had a good relationship with the new owners of Stitzel Weller, and they allowed him to continue to stay there. So what he did is they gave him the brand Old Rip Van Winkle, which was a pre-prohibition actually label. Matter of fact, I've got a bottle here. Sometime I got to bring this to Buffalo Trace, Fred. I don't know if you guys got like a historian or something. I think this is an old. The label is gone, so there would have been some sort of label here, but I believe I found that looks like Rip Van Winkle as presented in the old stories of like 1819 and stuff like that. And this is a pre-prohibition bottle. I would assume I found a pre-prohibition bottle of Old Rip Van Winkle. So it was an old label, but the Van Winkle family got that back and they decided to bring that back. That's what they would do, but they would be a source whiskey. They weren't going to distill, but Julian Van Winkle Jr. had that office, and he would buy sourced whiskey from Stitzel Weller. So the same place that was making their stuff before, they continued to source from them. He had an office there. They would then bottle it at the distillery, and that continued all the way until his death in 1981. When he died, Stitzel Weller did not offer that same sort of hospitality to Julian Van Winkle III, the guy who's still in charge of the Old Rip Van Winkle lineup today, Julian Van Winkle. So in 1981, he takes it himself. He's running the company. He buys a distillery in 1983 called Old Hoffman, which was a shuttered distillery, and he didn't buy it to distill the product. He bought it for the bottling there. So he would then bottle his Old Rip Van Winkle there. You're talking about bottles and decanters. It is that era. You could buy Old Rip Van Winkle decanters. Matter of fact, they're some of the most famous ones that are out there. Feature that old Rip Van Winkle. It's kind of similar look to this, just an updated version of that. Still kind of the same guy that is on the decanter looks a little bit like that. That's on the Old Rip. That's our Old Rip bottle for tonight. We'll be tasting. So he continued to run it all the way, with that. Up until when Stitzel Weller closed in 1992, he bought as much stock as he could get at that point. So he had a lot of it that he was able to live off that for a while. He vatted it. Kept some of it aging, but then vatted others, and then was able to then release that as his Old Rip Van Winkle product lineup. But in 2002, as that stock was beginning to low, he had to come up with a partner. So he had actually sourced a little bit from Buffalo Trace from Ancient Age in years prior. So he ended up partnering with what is now Buffalo Trace, and in 2002. So from that point forward, moving ahead, that is through a partnership, Buffalo Trace and Old Rip Van Winkle Distillery. They are the ones that are now producing and selling the Pappy Van Winkle lineup, including the Old Rip Van Winkle lineup that we've got today. It should be noted that a Buffalo Trace product is Weller, but they are the same product. Pappy Van Winkle and Weller are the exact same product. Fred, you can verify this. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as, okay, today we're going to distill Pappy Van Winkle. What they do is they have one wheated bourbon recipe at Buffalo Trace, and that is the recipe that they utilize. And then by taste, again, I told you guys before we got started that Fred's on the tasting team. By taste, then they will determine what that product is going to be. So they take that wheated bourbon, they put it in the barrel, and then they're tasting it throughout. And at some point, they're going to be like, okay, this is going to be a Weller Special Reserve. This is going to be a 107. This is going to be an Old Rip Van Winkle. This will be a Pappy. Whatever it is, they taste along the entire process to develop that. And that's literally how it goes, right, Fred? I mean,
yeah. Now Julian does get first choice of the Weller barrels from the sweet spots in the warehouses.
Nice.
So they kind of become the Van Winkles, and also the way you said it also, but they get first choice from the Weller
first choice.
barrels.
So yeah, so they got those Weller barrels there aging there. They'll have Julian try these. Here's the ones from the spots that we've recognized as being the ones that are really, and he tries them, and then and then they're deciding what it's going to be age wise. Again, I assume tasting along the way is what helps make it a 15, 20, 23.
Yeah. And him and Preston, his son, Julian and Preston, they have final say on what's going to be bottled
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
the lab.
Yeah. So they are absolutely hands-on. Don't think for a second that old Rip Van Winkle is just basically just a shell and Buffalo Trace runs it. It's still very hands-on by the Van Winkle family. They're the ones orchestrating all of everything that is under their name for sure. So, which is very cool. Again, Preston Van Winkle, as you mentioned, son of Julian Van Winkle III, he joined the company in 2001. So again, before the Buffalo Trace acquisition, he's been involved with them from the beginning. We've got some great products we're going to be trying tonight. So here's a look at the lineup. We're going to be trying in this order, Weller Special Reserve. So it's a 90 proof offering, the base model, if you will, of Weller. We'll also be trying the Weller 12. It's a 12-year product, which is very old when you're talking about wheated bourbons. So I don't know of any other wheated bourbons other than the Pappy Van Winkle lineup and the Weller that go as long as they do. And so it's a very old, especially for a kind of a base product. And again, if you can find the stuff at retail, incredible deal. Weller 12 at retail, $35 ish. I mean, it's to me, that's probably about as good as it gets, really. I mean, it's amazing. Weller Antique is the next one we're trying. That's 107 proof. And again, when you're talking about a very old brand, which Weller Antique's been around a long time, that was considered a very high proof bourbon. So these days, when we've got all these barrel strengths and all that, and you've even got hazmat, you've got bourbons on the market that are over 140 proof and stuff like that. I don't know that we think of 107 as a really high proof bourbon, but at the time it was. Most bourbons, in the 70s and 80s were going to be either 80 or 86 proof. If the kind of the high end typically was bottled and bond 100 proof. So coming in at 107 was definitely a higher proof bourbon for sure. And then we've got Weller Foolproof, and the idea for that is the same proof that it comes out of the still and goes into the barrel at 114 proof. That's what they proof it in going into the bottle as well. So 114 proof for our Foolproof that we'll be trying tonight. And then last but not least, we'll go to the old Rip Van Winkle lineup, which is 107. It's a 10-year age stated product, and we'll be trying that as well. There are a couple other ones too, just as we go into a last bit of Weller history here before we start tasting our stuff for the evening. There is one called Create Your Perfect Bourbon. Was literally created by the fans that go on. You can create by going through answering some questions what you think would be the ultimate bourbon, and then they kind of took it and then created that product. So it's a 95 proof offering. It's created from the upper levels of the warehouse, and so it's that's an interesting one. And then they've got a single barrel, so it's literally Weller single barrels. Those come out at 97 proof. And then, and of course, there is a Weller in the antique collection, WL Weller. And the big difference about that one is it's longer aged and it comes out cask strength. So cask strength. So that's to me, even though it's called WL, I always say that's like your only chance in the world to get cask strength Pappy Van Winkle, because it comes from the same mash bill and it is a cask strength offering. So that's pretty cool. All right. With that, it is now time to get started on our tasting. One last thing to do. We like to pour one ahead. We've got one poured and ready to go. That's okay. Let's leave that aside for just a second. Let's go ahead and pour our second one, which will be the Weller 12. We're going to go to the Weller 12 second. So let's pour Weller 12. We're going to go in proof order other than Old Rip we're saving for the very end because it's a little bit different animal. So pour our 12, but then put the 12 aside. And then the one that we're going to be talking about is the Weller Special Reserve. Weller Special Reserve. Again, you guys can have your mics open. This is interactive. We'll talk about nosing notes, and then we'll go through individually and see if anybody's picking up any unique tasting notes. It's just kind of fun to do. No wrong answers here. Whatever you're getting. And so we'll talk about that. So pick up that Special Reserve. That's the one we're going to talk about now. What are you guys getting on the nose here? It's good on the nose.
Yeah, caramel bomb for me.
Mm-hmm. Burnt brown sugar.
Yeah.
Brown sugar caramel.
Yeah. We made on Christmas night, the dessert of the night, or Christmas Eve, the dessert of the night was creme brulee. And this kind of is getting the, how you burn that sugar on the top. Kind of taking me back to that a couple nights ago.
Yeah, a little custardy, custardy note, creamy.
Yeah. kind of back to that creme brulee thing. My wife makes a very good creme brulee, but she doesn't like it. She doesn't think that she does a good job. We try to convince her, but it's my daughter, my wife, my mom, and I. It's really good. She doesn't think she does a good job.
Almost like a sweet flowery note that I've got, like a honeysuckle.
Honeysuckle, okay.
Okay.
Honeysuckle's always neat. All right, let's give this thing a taste, and then we're going to talk about it. See what we get tasting notes wise. I'm definitely getting the caramel thing for sure, but also kind of getting a fruity note, kind of like a dark cherry note to it.
It's sweet.
It is definitely sweet, isn't it? Easy drinking, comes in at 90 proof, and but that being said, 90 proof. There's a nice warm finish to it too. It definitely sticks around with you. Warms up nicely. What else? Jim, what are you getting as you taste this one?
I'm thinking. I'm definitely getting the sweetness and a little bit of the heat, along the mid palate and my tongue and jawline a little bit. Got a long finish on it. Definitely getting the sweetness, probably more caramel and vanilla than anything on the taste.
Right.
Yeah. Like vanilla.
Vanilla. Okay. Definitely getting the vanilla there. Anything else?
Creamy.
Creamy. Okay. Okay. All right, Casey, how about you?
Yeah, that sweetness kind of brings that honeysuckle note out. Very, very silky mouthfeel, but yeah, a lot of vanilla, caramel.
Yep.
A little bit of wood, a little bit of the wood.
Ooh, yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah, I think so. All right. Michael and Terry, what are you getting there?
Butterscotch, but it kind of feels like a Werther's.
Okay, like a Werther's, yeah.
Silky.
Mm-hmm. It's nice. Nice. We got two Ricks on here, so we'll go with the legend first. Rick, the legend Brenner.
No, I pick up a lot of caramel. I'll agree with the vanilla, and it's very sweet.
Very sweet. Yeah. Yeah. Rick A.
Good.
My problem is obviously my beard isn't big enough to properly. No, I like a wheated bourbon because it's sweeter. It doesn't have as much bite, but it doesn't last as long.
Right. Right. Yeah. Amy, anything else you want to add?
No, I'm getting the caramel and brown sugar.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Which again are kind of classic bourbon notes. I mean, if you're looking to taste, which can be a tougher assignment than you think. What's bourbon taste like, or what's it nose like? This might be one of those that you could point to, because I know I got friends that make candles and different things. And my daughter's a chemist, and everyone's telling her she makes all these different aerosol sprays, like room fresheners and stuff like that. And a lot of my friends are telling me she should make bourbon. Well, that's a tougher one than you think, because bourbons all nose differently. So what ones do you want to focus on to make this bourbon scented thing? But I talked to her Christmas. She said she might be able to do it for us. So we'll see. We may come up with an ABV Network room freshener.
No, nothing smells better than the inside of one of those warehouses.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's always the highlight of every tour, just because of the smell. Fred, you got to like that every time you take a tour. You're going to
Oh, yeah.
warehouse. Yeah. It's heaven,
every time I go into warehouse C.
Yeah. It's heaven. Well,
Yeah.
William, how about you?
You drink it.
I liked it. It started out a lot warm and then it just like mellowed out as I got down in it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's gives you that warm notes of a good finish, and yeah, it's for what it is, 90 proof. I think that's pretty solid. So, all right, let's put that one aside. we'll come back to these. We'll get a little bit of a higher level overview the second time. We always like to go through twice. Sometimes they evolve a little bit. So any good tasting, usually you want to go through 2 times just to make sure that you're on the right track.
I would like to say, Steve, this is aged 6 to 7 years, so I'm not getting a whole lot out of it.
Mhm.
There's some caramel on the finish, but it's not my favorite.
Yeah.
A little
not
too young for me.
too young for you. You like a little bit older. Well, I think you're going to like this next one then, Fred. We're
Oh, I
jumping
know
to the
that.
12-year-old. We're jumping right into the 12, also 90 proof. So again, 12-year age stated product. Let's talk a little bit about on the nose on this one.
Get that juicy fruit.
Juicy fruit. Yeah. Yeah,
Very
that's
strong nose.
very
Very
strong
strong
nose.
nose. Mhm,
Mhm.
mhm. Pleasant. Very pleasant.
Very
Mhm.
pleasant. Yep. Casey, that's one of our favorite nosing notes. If you do enough of our tastings, we bring up juicy fruit or fruit stripe gum. The gum notes are, fall in that sweet line, and we've defined them out as many of them to be what type of gum it is. So
Yeah, fruity sweet.
really
Mhm.
sweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You thought it might be just an oak bomb at 12 years, but no, man, it's got a lot of different things going on the nose there. Got some honey as well.
Very different.
Even some berries like blackberries or something like that. Some fruit from the berry family. All right, let's taste it. See what we got.
Mm.
Wow.
Mm. Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah. What do you think of there, Fred, as you taste that?
Oh, velvety mouthfeel.
Yes.
It just spreads across the tongue, the spice, I'm getting caramel and wood.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's so much more to it
Hmm.
than the special reserve.
Special reserve. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That is, the mouthfeel is just incredible. So,
Mhm, mhm,
you're looking
mhm.
for a nice
Great,
viscosity. Yeah.
great finish.
Hmm.
And
Finish
more
sticks with you.
velvety like a custard, but also some like um like a creamsicle, almost like a burnt orange twist. If you had an orange twist that you kind of lit it on fire briefly just to get that little bit of smokiness and
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like they do a lot of times with cocktails. You'll see them
Yeah.
grab a lighter and torch that orange peel a little bit.
But that sweetness of the first one is not there.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. A little bit, yeah, more on the savory side.
Mhm.
Makes sense. 12 years in the oak makes some sense. You would get that.
The velvety thing they were talking about.
Yeah.
Would be, I was thinking it would make a fantastic old fashioned.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of a little bit has that kind of feel going for it anyway, with that little bit of an orange note in there. And the taste, it's kind of tastes like you're already halfway there to the old fashioned. So it's a neat old fashioned. How about you, William?
Yeah, this one to me is a little bit more subtle of it. It didn't just like punch me in the face with it as much as
Mhm.
the special reserve did,
Yeah.
and it just like settled in.
Yeah. Yeah. This one, we could just be sitting here talking and just do one pour after another and just talk away and have a good night and have fun and chat. And then we realize it as we go to stand up. That's when it hits you. It feels like it's a
Dangerous like
sneaky one.
that.
It's the sneaky one, right? It feels like it might be that way. So yeah, because it just drinks so smooth. Yeah. Yeah. What do you think, Casey?
It keeps changing as I drink it. I mean, I'm
Mhm.
getting, the orange was there for a while, and now I'm starting to get a little bit of almost a cherry note. It's a real complex, a lot of layers, great mouthfeel, just sweet enough. I'm going to use the Mr. Bill and say I like it.
I like it. Yes. Yeah. So
we
we
had to
got-
get at least one Mr. Bilton.
Yes, yeah.
So, yeah.
For those that are new here, we do have a regular guy, and it's just on the screen name is Mr. Bill, and he doesn't like to give tasting notes. He just likes to give Yeah, it's okay, or I like it. When he says I like it, that means it's really good. that's the equivalent to like 100 rating on most systems. So yeah,
Or it's a, I'd buy it or I'll drink it.
yeah, I'll drink it. Yeah, yeah. So he has his own unique system for sure, but he likes participating. Amy, what do you get on this one as you taste it?
Well, what I'm noticing is I really got the juicy fruit smell up front, but you don't get that flavor.
No, not at all. No.
The way it lands is very different than the nose.
Yeah, yeah. I concur with that. How about you, Mr. Legend?
Well, I think mouthfeel wise, I think it's more savory than the first one. Mouthfeel has got a great silky mouthfeel.
Yeah.
It envelops the tongue, and it's got a slow burn.
Yeah.
It builds up nice and slow, and
it does stick with you. I'm not drinking it right now, and I can feel it as I'm just sitting here listening to you. I can feel it kind of heating up my mouth still, which is cool. Not overwhelming. Again, sometimes these can be too hot. This is just that right amount to let you know you just took a drink there. Anything else from the team down there, Michael and Terry?
I was losing my mind because the nose changed after I tasted it, but Casey validated my thought on that one.
Yeah. There you go. And either Rick or Julie, anything else you want to add?
The first one I had, I tasted sweetness at first, and it went away pretty quick. It wasn't that complex. This one had such a different flavor. That velvety feeling you're talking about, I agree. But the more I drink it, the more sweetness I have on the tail end of this one,
right?
Instead of on the front end.
Yeah. All right, let's put that aside. We forgot to pour the extra one in advance here, so let's go ahead and let's pour both of these. 107. Let's pour that, and that one will get that one ready. We'll talk about that in a second. I got a couple other things I can hit on here, so let's put that, and let's go ahead and pour. So we're continuing to work one ahead. Let's pour the Foolproof too. The Foolproof we're just letting sit aside. We are going to be talking about the 107 in just a second. So I've got something kind of cool here. Some of the evolution. This is not a Weller 107 product here. This is a very old Barton. But if you go back, I think in 2016, Weller was in this exact same sort of bottle, kind of rounded and stuff like that. Squattier than the current bottle. And but before that, even I've got one that I still have here from about 1990. And this one is still more than halfway full, so pretty proud to have this one. I don't dust this. I dust my bottles and that. I don't dust these because it is a dusty after all. So I leave this on the shelf, and I like when the dust accumulates on there. So that's kind of cool. Again, I've been collecting and drinking for a long time, so I had that. I also have something really cool here, but this is just about gone at this point. So this again is our old Rip Van Winkle bottle from tonight. So it looks like this, kind of like a wine bottle, really. Nothing fancy about the bottle itself. The label's gorgeous, so the label is really cool. But around that same era, that the squat bottle for Weller, it was also for old Rip.
Yeah.
Here's an old bottle of old Rip. Again, not much left there. I've been working my way through that. At this point, this is down to special occasions. You hang on to these things if you got them. At least I do. I don't know if everybody does it the same way, but I'll eventually. This will be gone. I don't save. I don't have a whiskey museum. This will go. It'll be a memory at some point. Right now I got it, but yeah. People really look for these, don't they? Don't they? It's something that they want that old squat bottle. Fred, do people ever show up at the distillery with old bottles just to bring them in and show you guys or anything?
Not like that. Every once in a while, but not often.
Not often. Oh, that's cool. It's just things evolve, and but it's good stuff. Good stuff. All right, let's grab our Weller Antique now. So Weller Antique is an interesting one because it's kind of shot up to kind of be maybe the sweetheart of the lineup. I don't know, Fred. It seemed like, it was always in the order of Special Reserve, Weller Antique, and then Weller 12. And that's the way they were priced. And then a couple of years ago, the 107 surpassed the 12 in price, and I assume based on popularity, right? Is that why it happens?
I guess I prefer the 12 over the 107.
Yeah. So it's interesting why that happened. I don't necessarily have any insight or anything, but yeah. So let's try this 107. Again, it is 107 proof, and woohoo on the nose. Man, that's a home run there. I mean, you got a little bit of everything there. You got some pie, because you get like the crust and even
some of that
like
burnt sugar and
burnt sugars there. Even some sweetness, almost like candy corn.
It doesn't taste like the same mash bill.
Yeah. Oh, now on that nose again, each nose and can be different. That nose, it was just like all vanilla. I mean, just like vanilla.
Get a lot of spice, like cinnamon, like a cinnamon spice.
Cinnamon spice. Yeah.
Yep. Red hots.
Red hots. Okay.
There you go, like a sweet cinnamon like that. Yeah, exactly, Casey.
The old red hots. Okay. All right. Let's give this thing a taste and see what we got here. Yeah, that's pretty bold. And like Rick said, it's hard to believe it's the same mash bill. It's hard to believe these start out as the exact same product. These barrels could be rolled side by side at one point, and then they just, as they evolve and change, they become something different. But yeah, you're definitely on the taste for me. That cinnamon certainly is a standout. I'm getting that.
Are you going out?
Yeah. What else? What are you thinking as you try this, William?
Feels very warm.
Very warm. Yeah. I agree. Warm, but not hot. Warm is good, I think. Hot, not so good when you're talking about bourbon. And I think this is definitely warms up nicely. Kind of stays in the middle of the palate. It's on like across the tongue and the roof of my mouth. I can feel that warmth. So it sticks with you. It definitely does.
Got the
It's a
longest
hard
finish.
comparison because it doesn't stay on the tongue the way the 12 did.
Yeah. Very
I
interesting.
don't know that it does it justice going side by side like that.
My problem is 3 or 4 drinks into any one of these, I like them all.
What's your favorite? Whatever when you're drinking that, right? Yeah.
The one I can get.
Yeah.
But it also makes such a difference what you were drinking before it.
Oh yeah.
Because it changes the flavor as you're tasting them.
Everything that you do ends up impacting. Maybe what you ate that day, all those kind of things can impact for sure. Jim, you were jumping in trying to say something, but we weren't able to grab it from. What were you wanting to say there?
Just saying it's got the longest finish so far. I mean, it definitely stayed with me the longest. Really enjoy the finish on this one. Definitely get a little more, like you said, not heat, like heat I associate with high in the rick house, but it definitely has more like spice to it, like flavor spice, and definitely get the cinnamon notes coming through.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I would love to actually try like the Weller 12, but like at the Antique 107 proof or somewhere in that vein, in that higher proof like that, because that I think would just be such a freaking knockout.
Yeah, very interesting. What else? Fred, what are you getting as you taste this one?
The beginning, it reminds me a lot of the Special Reserve. There's not much in the beginning. Good finish, nice finish, and it's warm. It's not hot. It's warm.
Yeah,
but and it doesn't have the mouthfeel that the 12-year-old has.
Yeah. Mouthfeel, I'd say here is good. On the 12, it was just great. It's like you said, velvety. You hit that right on the mark.
Yeah.
That one was
standing. Long finish on this.
Yeah. What are you thinking, Casey?
I definitely agree. The mouthfeel is like better than your average bourbon, but definitely not compared to the 12. I think it's got a decent heat. I get a lot of pie crust, baking spice, kind of notes. It's pretty pleasant. I'm still sticking with the 12, but it's a pretty good drinker.
Okay. Okay. Now, you can't lock that in though, because we will go through a second time, and sometimes it changes. Even
Sure.
Mr. Bill himself has changed on second pass through. So we have to remember that going in. Michael and Terry, anything else to add to this one?
Definitely hangs a wrinkle.
It's pretty solid. Pretty solid. How about you, Amy? Anything else you'd like to mention taste-wise on this one, Amy?
No, I got the cinnamon in that, and it definitely lingers on the palate longer.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. How about you, Rick A? Anything else?
Well, Julie and I were debating whether or not Fred took us on a tour once.
Okay.
Because somebody down at Buffalo Trace was talking to us about a bourbon that would go really well with a cigar.
Mhm.
And this one would stand up to a cigar better than any of the other ones we've had so far.
Okay. Fred, you ever talk about pairing bourbon and cigars on tours?
No, because I don't smoke cigars, so
Well,
Okay.
then it wasn't you, Fred.
it wasn't me.
Wouldn't be Fred. Wouldn't be Fred. Fred's a character. He's an interesting guy because, yeah. What the story I love about Fred is he's from Philadelphia, so Pennsylvania is a control state. So he managed a liquor store for the state of Pennsylvania, and he is now a pensioned employee from the state of Pennsylvania that has now moved to Kentucky and doing what he truly loves, working in the bourbon industry. So very cool stuff. So. It's just kind of cool to think about getting a pension from running a liquor store.
Yeah.
That's pretty rare, I think. It's not,
Yeah.
not the norm there. Most of them don't. Working for most liquor stores, you don't get a pension, so
Right.
that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Last but not least, Mr. Brenner, you want to weigh in on this one?
I don't know if there's anything else I could add except for the fact that I think the finish on this is something you wish all bourbons would have.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. It was kind of perfection.
just
It
goes
sticks
on
with you just the
forever.
right amount. Yeah, sticks
Yeah.
with you. Yeah. All right. Well, let's again pouring one ahead. Let's pour our old Rip now. That's not going to be the one we're talking about, but we'll pour our old Rip and get that ready. This one that we're going to be tasting is the Weller Foolproof.
Mhm.
Highly desirable bourbon. Good luck finding it on the shelves. It's so difficult to find
Is
these.
this the blue label?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. So
I had this at a bar 2 weeks ago.
yeah, you can find it at bars every once in a while. If you know, they do barrel picks on these, which is kind of cool. So if you know someone at like a club or something like that, that's when I've been lucky, been able to get some
Yep.
barrel picks and stuff like that. That's kind of nice.
Most of the guys that come in and do the Weller barrel picks, they used to do 107. Now they're doing the Foolproof.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
Most clubs are gravitating to the higher proof if they can get it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Our club is the same. So
That's
So
what
are
you go
most
for.
so are most drinkers.
Yeah. Yeah. Proof is definitely going up. Proof
But
is
the more I'm into the bourbons, the more I realize the flavor, the complexity of the higher proofs.
yeah.
oh, definitely.
Me too.
But well, I think that's the big part of it is, I don't want to water it down. I want it more how it came out of the barrel,
Yeah.
Run it through the screens, get all the big chunks out. Otherwise, just slap in the bottle. I'm good.
Right. It's the same type of thing when you enjoy a good steak. I mean, slathering it in A1. I mean, A1 is good, but not on a good steak. I mean, I want to taste the steak, and it's the same type of thing. I think that's what we're going with.
When I have a bottled and bond, they all sort of taste the same to me.
Yeah.
Well, that's why whenever anybody at a restaurant always asks me if I want anything like A1 or something with a steak, I'll ask them, is there anything wrong with the meat?
Right. What do we need to cover up here? So
Yeah. What do you
Are
Same
you
type
telling me
of
I
thing.
need A1?
Right.
It's like cream for my coffee. Is there something wrong with it?
Yeah. Interesting. All right. Let's talk a little bit about this Foolproof, what we got on the
A lot of
nose.
spice on the nose. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We do around the holidays, the crock pot with all the different spices, holiday spices, cardamom and cinnamon and allspice and all those. And this kind of nose is like something that's coming out of there. It's got a lot of different spicy notes.
Yeah, pretty complex.
Mm-hmm. There is a little sweetness there too on the nose.
Cherry.
Mm-hmm.
Get more honey of sweetness as honey as
Yeah.
opposed to the brown sugary.
Yeah, yeah. More of a honey sweet versus sugar sweetened. I agree. That's nice. All right, let's taste it. It smells nice. Let's see how it tastes.
I like that.
Man, bit of honey. I mean, on the
Yeah.
taste. It does not taste like 114.
No way.
No,
And it's got more of a velvety coat again.
it
Yeah,
does.
yeah.
Yes, I agree, Amy. You're right on.
Yeah.
We're back to the velvety mouthfeel
Yeah.
with this one.
I
Ooh,
feel
that's
like-
good.
I feel
There's
like
a combination of velvet and spice that kind
Yeah.
of match
like
each
melt in
other.
your mouth.
I think this drink's better than any of the other.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is pretty darn good.
Yes.
William, what were you saying?
It feels like melt in your mouth, like a candy dissolving away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like somebody just dropped a dollop of honey on my tongue right
Mhm.
up front, and
Yeah,
then
it kinda makes
dissolves
your
in
mouth water.
spice.
Yeah. Ooh, we talked about getting in trouble drinking one before. This one for sure. Man.
It feels like a Werther melting in my mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That is something special there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Which one's your favorite?
Nice
That's why the
long
bottles
finish.
are so hard to find.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Now, yeah, as you taste this, you're like, now it makes sense why we can't find these. So, well, Jim, how about you? Anything you want to add taste wise on this one?
Definitely got a great finish on it. Love the
Mhm.
finish.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's just lingering and lingering. I was definitely getting a lot of cherry notes on the nose on this one, which was different for me. The taste wise, definitely sweet, just the sweetness and just a nice long burn. You know, it was not harsh, not in a bad way. It was just
Not burn to
pleasant-
burn, right?
pleasant
Yeah.
warmth.
Yeah.
I guess is how I would categorize it or characterize it.
Man, it sticks with you. I'll tell you what. Whew.
Me right here.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. That's me too. This is, I got the beard in the way, but yes, in this area right there, definitely sticks around. Yeah. Mr. Legend, how about you? Anything taste wise?
Nothing any different.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I think it drinks better than the other three that preceded it.
Yeah. Yeah. The bottom line is these are all good
So
whiskeys.
they're all good.
Yeah. 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 All right. Anything else? How about Michael and Terry? Anything else you guys want to say about this one?
I think the 12 would be my everyday, that's my special occasion.
Mhm. Yeah. This is very, very, very nice. Very nice for sure. All right. Let's set that aside. And now we're going to go to, again, different brand line. We're going to go to Old Rip. As Fred talked about here, this, of course, is a partnership with Buffalo Trace, but it is controlled by the Van Winkle family, led by Julian Van Winkle III and his son, Preston Van Winkle. So the two of them are the ones that are making the call as to officially what goes into that and represents their brand.
I'd like to add that the 10, the 12, 15, and 20-year-old Van Winkle is Buffalo Trace juice now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got the old Van Winkle taste.
Yeah. Yeah.
The old Van Winkle taste is back.
It is back. Yes. Yeah. Which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very cool stuff. Highly desirable. Again, if you're going to have one of these, more than likely the chances of walking into a liquor store and finding it, I think, are impossible, especially when you're talking about retail price at some crazy price. Sure, you'll find some places that hang on to it and they want, $700 for the bottle, and that's where you see it. Yeah, they are, like you said, more museums than they are actually selling liquor. Now, you can buy it at retail if you go to particularly the large box stores, or if you go to a smaller mom and pop, but you have a relationship with them, you might be able to get one of these. And again, at retail, $69.99. I think you'll find that this 10-year-old product is, very good for that price if you can buy it at retail. Am I in favor of going out and spending $700 on a bottle? Absolutely not. No, I don't think it lives up to seven. A few it would be tough for me to find anything that lives up to $700.
No,
That's tough. That's a tough bottle for me. So, but all right, let's talk a little bit about this one. Again, very different than anything else that we've had tonight on the nose. It's sweet.
Less of a nose, but it's very similar.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get that sweet and the burnt brown sugar and
Burnt brown sugar.
Brown sugar.
Yeah. Kind of the lighter caramel. We talked about some burnt dark caramels before. This one's lighter.
Yeah.
Maybe more like like the Brock's squares that you get, just kind of that sort of caramel.
Sure.
Man, there's some
Salted caramel.
salted caramel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's taste it. Cheers, gang. The last one of the night. Let's cheers on that. Wow.
Oh yeah.
This one's 107 proof as well. So we had the antique at 107. This is 107, 10 years old. Taste is great. It's again, it's definitely on the sweet scale. But you also get some of the oakiness of the 10 years, which is good. Yeah. Yeah. So it's not just all sweet. It gets the oak there as well. Man.
Nice.
And the Weller 107 is age 6 to 7 years, like the special reserve.
Okay.
So this is 10 years. So
yeah. You're getting 3 extra years on there. Yeah. Yeah. Legend, what were you saying?
Heck, I don't know.
That happens.
Yeah, to me all the time. I will say one thing. I hate to use the word, but this is the smoothest of the
smoothest.
band.
Yeah. We use smooth on our events. So now online in Facebook. Oh geez, you say something smooth. Oh, they want to kill you. I don't know why, but I hate that. But Facebook in general can get pretty nasty.
Yeah, but it is.
They generally say smooth means you don't know how to describe it.
Yeah, that's what they'll come back at you. You got no words.
How else would you describe it? You know,
it is.
Yeah.
It's smooth.
Yeah, it is smooth with some spicy notes in there too, which is nice.
I think that sounds better than less abrasive.
Yeah. Yeah. The amazing thing about this, especially the spicy notes that you get when you think of a wheated bourbon, you think of typically not spicy notes. That comes more from the rye. A lot of the rye bourbons where the rye is a secondary ingredient. You talk spicy, but this one you're getting some spice here on a wheated bourbon, which is unique. It's good. How about you, Jim? What are your thoughts on this one, taste wise?
For me, it was back to the custard creme brulee. I was getting the heavy vanilla notes. It was very silky, velvety on the tongue. It wasn't harsh at all. I think that some of the younger stuff you can get kind of a little bit of a bite. There's no bite. It's much closer to the 12 in this. How smooth it is. Going across your tongue, but you're getting more flavor. I thought with the higher proof, even though it's 2 years younger than the Weller 12.
Yeah.
Me personally.
Yeah. Yep. How about you, Amy?
It definitely has the velvety. I was wondering if the longer age is what is the common thread of the three that had that more velvet feel.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about what's happening in that barrel, I mean, it's going through a charcoal filter again and again. It's, 3 to 4 more years of charcoal filtration, or in the 12, 5 years or whatever. I think that will definitely impact the mouthfeel for sure. It has to. Yeah.
But this has got some lingering heat too.
Oh yeah.
But this is 2 years younger than Weller 12. But it's
17 proof
17 proof points higher.
Oh yeah.
but it's 2 years younger.
Yep.
Smoother.
Don't
Yeah.
taste the alcohol as much on this though. You
You're
know,
right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not as
You are right.
spicy.
But it
Exactly.
also becomes, and Fred as part of the tasting panel can verify, it comes down to that, kind of right of first refusal that the Van Winkles have. They're plucking literally the best of the best
Yeah.
to make sure it's in their brand. So you could, it makes sense as you taste this and you're like, wow, this is even 2 years younger than the 12. But to me, it tastes better. It tastes, a little bit less rough. Makes sense because the Van Winkles that's what their job is. That's what they're adding to the equation. They're making sure that they're getting the best of the best of the offering. So it's cool. It's cool. Doing this side by side helps you see the work that they're doing. William, how about you, man?
For me, again, this one was kind of back to the warm side, and then it felt like it like blanketed my tongue as it went in
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of spread itself out.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. How about you, Michael and Terry?
It's very full flavored.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Very full flavored.
Having champagne taste on a beer budget, but those expensive.
Yeah. Perfect. Last but not least, we'll check in with Casey. Casey, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I felt that the mouthfeel was really thin compared to the other ones. It starts off sweet and it turns the corner with a little vanilla custard, and then the spice comes in. For me, it hit me a little hot. Hit me hotter than the Foolproof for some reason.
Yeah.
I mean, I tend to be a low proof guy because I don't know, I'm relatively new to bourbon, so I'm not drinking 120s or anything like that.
You'll get there. It'll happen.
Yeah.
Next thing you know,
Who
one day you'll
knows?
be like, wow, wait a second here.
Give me another year. But
Yeah.
this one did kind of hit me kind of hot at the end there. But otherwise, this is very pleasant. I mean, as
Yeah.
in any other lineup, I think it would be a home run, but it's got some stiff competition.
It does have some stiff competition here for sure. All right. So what we want to do next, we are going to go back through all these another time. Now, the first time we went through, I called on each of you individually, asked you to share tasting notes and that. We're not going to do that this time. It's more of a quick look at them, maybe a high level view. As you go through these, be thinking about, side by side, which is your favorite. So this is your chance to kind of go through these again to help you establish. We'll vote on that at the end, again, just for fun to see what the favorite of the night is. So with that in mind, we're going to start all the way back to the beginning. So that's all the way back to our special reserve. So let's grab that special reserve and talk about that. On nose, anything we want to share, things that you think may have changed or different. Maybe you want to say it's exactly the same. Anything you want to share is good.
And a grape note for some reason.
Great.
There's much more of a nose this time. And
Yeah.
You get a little sugar cookies out of it.
yeah.
Sugar
yeah,
cookies. Yeah, I get that
Yeah.
too, Rick.
Yeah. Maybe snickerdoodle.
Well, like
Yeah.
the sugar wafer cookies,
Yeah. Yeah.
I get those
those
for
those
sure.
things you get at a gas station.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
vanilla wafer cookies.
Yeah. Vanilla wafers. Yeah. Wow. This is going to be interesting. Let's try it again. Let's see. It seemed like the time was good to the nose. Let's see what it did to the taste.
This is so much thicker than the other one.
Mm-hmm.
So much, it's almost coach mouth like syrup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I'm not getting a lot of flavor out of this one this time around.
Not as complex. Not as complex.
No.
And considering that a couple of years ago I bought a bottle of this for $23 at a big liquor store in St. Louis.
Yeah.
This is a great bourbon.
Yeah, it is. It is. For the price it's supposed to be, I 100% agree.
For $100.
Yeah. Yeah. We got a place where you can go. I can tell you right now to go to St. Louis, if you want to buy that for $100, we've got it. But I can't, you don't want to buy it for $100. 100 is too much, but it's out there.
Your phrase was right. The price that it's supposed to be.
Right. Exactly. Because you can still get it, as Rick said, $23. That's still a possibility. It just has to be finding at the right price and the right retailer, and they'll still sell it for that. So, oh, okay. Interesting. interesting to see. But let's put that one aside, and we're going to jump to the Weller 12.
There's nothing left to put aside on that one.
Okay, yeah, that's gone. That happens. That happens. Yeah, these are fun too. A fun exercise can be, your natural inclination is to right away put things in the dishwasher and get those clean for the next time. You may want to leave them out as you finish them, and then nose them the next day. That's always fun too. Just let them dry out, and then sometimes that's some of the best nosing you can get. So worth doing on a good solid lineup like this for sure. All right.
This is way sweeter than I remember.
Yeah.
Getting more sweet and more wood notes.
It to me, it noses like an ice cream topping.
Yeah, it's like almost like pure sugar.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I get that wood as well.
Yeah. There's some definitely the wood there. Kind of like a liquid caramel for, like I said, ice cream topping. Let's taste it. See what we got here. Second time through.
And that's what,
Yeah, it's got that velvety taste still.
mhm.
It's just so delicious. I mean, it's at that 90-point proof where it just slides right down, and it's nice. It's just nice.
It's like a
There's
dessert
nothing
course
offensive
bourbon
about
here.
it, it's got a lot of, plenty of flavor in there. It's not going to burn you out. It's not going to, and for anyone who's afraid of high proof, no worries there. It's nice. It's real nice.
I agree.
Incredibly smooth, and the spices hitting the.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt a nice little spice spike and nice blanketing.
Yeah.
Incredibly smooth, and the spices hitting the top of my mouth, but it's
Mine too.
incredibly smooth.
Yeah. Yeah. It is.
Be the one that would always be in my cabinet.
Yeah. Yeah. It's that good. Yep.
For a little more.
Yeah. Okay, let's set that one aside. Weller Antique. Now we got Rick and Julie live in Ohio, which is a great place to find Weller, by the way. It's all over there. My in-laws live in Toledo, Ohio area. And my wife goes and visits there 2 or 3 times a year at this point. I don't get to go as much just because I'm doing other things, but my wife goes, and especially with her parents, she likes to keep an eye on them and trade times with her brothers and sisters. There's 4 of them, and they spend, a week at a time and kind of mix it up a little bit. But she always goes Weller shopping for me. The 107 is amazingly easy to find there. So she always comes back with a bunch of bottles.
it's interesting. We live in Cincinnati, so we're basically in Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
And so I find it interesting when I go into Northern Ohio to see the different bourbons that are available there.
Yeah.
Because here we go shopping in Northern Kentucky. I'm 15 minutes from the Party Source, which is the biggest bourbon selection.
Sure.
Right there in New Riff.
Right there near New Riff, and there's 4 or 5 crafts right around there too that we enjoy visiting.
You got to get to Neely. Have you been to Neely?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That's where we found you.
Yeah. Oh, that's how you found us. Okay, good. Yes, we're very good friends with Neely. Matter of fact, I stay at Neely's house when I'm in Kentucky these days. So
Rebecca.
yeah, I stay with Rebecca and Royce. So
I probably will never survive again.
well, that's cool.
Let's just say Julie doesn't remember coming home that day.
Believe that.
Absolutely.
It was a good trip.
That's fun. That's fun. Yeah, that's a really good place. Fred, you need to make it up there. You gotta get a visit. Have you been to Neely?
Yeah, we did a field trip there.
Oh, that's
from
right.
Buffalo
That's right.
Trace.
Yeah.
Early on, they just put in their fermenters,
Okay. Yeah.
their wooden fermenters.
So yeah, that's been a while now. So yeah, they got a new still in there since then and all that. They got a lot going on. So you have to check.
That was before COVID. We were up there.
Yeah. Back when they had the races there, I could see you wanting to go there for sure.
Yeah.
So, NASCAR. They're right next to the NASCAR track, which they don't do it anymore there though.
No.
So. All right, let's talk about the 107. Let's give it a taste and see what we think. Second time through on the taste.
What was that sort of marriage between 1 and 3? It's a puppy.
I mean, That's pretty solid. I mean, the 107 has kind of the best of all worlds. It's sweet and a little savory. Points added as well. Finish is good.
Angel. You won't understand this, but I don't know if you can see the animals moving around. But
Yeah.
we have a booze hound that lives with us, and this is his favorite.
Really? That's his favorite, huh?
This gave him the zoomies.
It's bold. No, he's not zoomy. He's really mellow, but he loves to smell it and he loves to taste it.
Really? Wow. He's a 107 fan, huh?
My kind of dog.
Good dog.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good dog. That's a good dog.
Maybe.
Yeah, yeah. You don't want him drinking too much. Yeah, you don't want to. Yeah, I gotta go
put him to
shopping.
work in the distillery, finding the honey barrels.
Yeah, yeah. Absolutely. Okay. Anything else we want to note about 107 before we move on? It's solid.
Cherry finish.
It's a what finish?
I've got a cherry finish to
Cherry
it.
finish. Yeah. 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 It kind of does. Even kind of sweet cherries. It's good. Very good. All right. Let's check out our Weller Foolproof. That was a popular one as we went through the first time. Let's see how a little bit more time. That's
It's nosing really good.
it is nosing really good, isn't
The
it?
vanilla, brown sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jumps out of the glass.
Cherry cheese Danish.
Mhm.
This is the one of those
Yeah.
114.
Yeah. It is 114. Let's try it. Boy. That one is good. I tell you what, I don't know that I'd pick that as the highest proof if we were just going through and saying pick the highest proof on a blind tasting.
Never.
I don't think I would.
No.
That is
Does not drink 114.
no.
Mm-mm.
No.
Now, what was this? Was this a selection that a club did, Steve, or was this an off the shelf?
This particular one was just off the shelf. So had a friend come through and let me know when that one came in. But I have had a couple store picks as well. I've had Total Wine did a pick. I had one from Pensacola, Florida.
Old Hickory Whiskey Bar.
Old Hickory, yeah. I
Yeah,
bought one of
I got
those.
one of those too.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've had a couple of the store picks, which I really like them too. But this one's a standard shelfie, if you will, as much as they hit the shelf, which they don't. Yeah.
Yeah, good luck calling that a shelfie. I'm sorry.
You're not wrong.
A back roomer.
Yeah.
Or on the two-wheeler,
Yeah, behind the counter. Yeah. It's a behind the counter. I mean, taste is rich and a lot of depth to it. I don't know. It feels like you can taste this each time and pull out a different note. It's pretty good.
The finish is like fireworks exploding in my mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like the I don't know, whatever the best fireworks show is, maybe Washington, DC or something, where it just keeps going and going and going. Yeah, because the finish just keeps going and going and going.
Yeah.
Yeah. So really good. Really good. Lauren? Can you hear me? Lauren has just joined us. Let's just go ahead and start again from the beginning. She bailed. No, she bailed. Yeah, it was one of those that didn't make it at the beginning here. So we were just getting ready to finish it. So well, that's not a good time to jump in. But.
If we start over, you have to ship us another 5 bottles.
I'm okay with that.
A courier will be knocking on your door in just a minute here. I anticipated this. So yes.
You know, Steve, just come on and bring the whole bottle down with you. I'm good.
Yes, sure. All right, let's jump in to our last one, the second pass through our last one, which is our old Rip. So let's try the old Rip. Oh man,
Still tastes like candy or smells like candy.
Smells like candy, doesn't it? That's
Yeah.
a dessert.
Mm.
Totally.
Mm.
Totally. All right, let's taste it.
Will you finish tasting that?
Boy, that's pretty good.
Mm.
That's real good.
Yeah, I mean,
So smooth.
it's so smooth. It's got the
Oh.
it's got the brown sugars, the
Mhm.
oaks, the vanillas, the caramels. I mean,
And a great finish.
everything you want. Is the finish is great.
Now, this is 10-year.
Yes. Yeah. 10 years.
Yep.
Yep.
10-year honey barrel at a higher proof.
It is. It is.
Yes.
Anything else anybody wants to note? Second pass through.
Daggone.
Oh, sorry, I missed that. I was
Daggone.
perfect. Cheers. So
I like that one.
really good. What I'd like to do next is just give you just a little bit of time. You can compare them side by side, however you like. The only thing we're doing is looking for you to tell us what your favorite is. We'll be voting on our favorite. We'll go through everyone here and have them share what their favorite of the night was. I'll give you just a second to, narrow it down. We've gone through them twice, and I will ask everyone, and I'll get to vote too on this one. I'll be voting as well. And the reason for that is it's not a blind tasting where I have any sort of strategic advantage. On the blind tastings, I don't really participate because I know what is what, and the guests do not. But on this one, we know what everything is. We're just telling what our favorite is. So just give you just a minute or so here to do that. And we'll go through. See what the favorite of the night is.
Done 3.
To drink and enjoy. Is everybody finishing all their samples, or are they saving some for later?
I'm saving some for later.
Saving some for later. Okay.
Oh,
I'm drinking
mine are
all
gone.
mine.
Well, I like, it's nice to have something interesting to drink, every night while I'm surfing the web. And
Oh, yeah.
nonsense,
Yeah. It's nice. It is nice. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
A couple
All
of
right.
fingers.
All right. Let's, it is now time to vote. Does anybody need more time?
No.
Okay. Okay. All right. I'm going to just follow the order you guys are on my screen. Again, there's no wrong order here because I'm asking you what is your favorite of the night. No one can tell you what your favorite is. Only you can tell us. So that being said, Rick, the Legend Brenner, you're first.
My favorite was the Van Winkle.
Van Winkle, the old Rip.
The old Rip.
Old Rip gets a vote. All right, Jim,
They're
how
doing
about you?
their job.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
That's good.
Old Rip with the Weller 12 as a close second.
Yeah.
I
Old
think
Rip.
the proof won out over the age in this case.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. We're going to ask both Rick and Julie. So you both get a vote here.
We're both number 5.
Both number 5, the Weller full,
No,
the old Rip, the old Rip.
Old Rip.
The old Rip, sorry. Old Rip. Okay. All right. Amy, how about you?
I think I liked the Weller Foolproof.
The Weller Foolproof. It's your favorite.
That would have been my second.
Okay. Fair enough. William, you're next on my screen.
Mine's also the Foolproof. It's dangerous.
The full, exactly. Yeah. It'll get you, no doubt. No doubt. All right. Michael and Terry, you both get a vote here. Okay. Terry,
Go with the old Rip.
Antique and Old Rip. All right. All right. Fred.
The old Rip and the Foolproof are pretty much a tie, but the Foolproof wins out because of that spice explosion.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go for the Foolproof.
Foolproof. Okay. All right. Casey, you're next. Foolproof. Old Rip.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to
Oh,
go. I kind of wanted to like the old Rip, but it just has to be too hot. It's a Foolproof, man. It's got everything I need, and
Foolproof.
that's surprising considering I'm kind of a low proof drinker.
mhm, mhm. I'll say this. I'm last one to vote, and I've tried all of them, and I think they're all good. I don't think there was a bad one. There's not a bad one in this group, actually.
no,
They're all good. That being said, my vote for tonight And again, if we did this tomorrow night and tried the exact same whiskeys, it could change. And I think any of us could change. Sometimes, there's other factors that determine how we're tasting something. But tonight, to me, my favorite one was the Foolproof. So here's where we're at. We have a deadlock of the Foolproof and the Old Rip. We're tied with 5 votes apiece, and then the 107 had 1 vote. So we need Lauren to come back and be a tiebreaker for us.
Yeah.
We need to drink more until somebody changes.
Until someone switches. Yes.
It was, for me, it was a really close in between the Foolproof and the Old Rip.
Yeah,
Really close.
yeah.
So
Yeah, really good. But that's it. Unless there's someone else to
Yeah.
vote, I don't. Yeah, I think we got it. We end this thing in the tie. Old Rip and Foolproof.
yeah.
With 107 also receiving a vote in there too. So that's pretty cool.
Yep.
Michael, if you had to vote, you voted for 107. What was your favorite out of Foolproof and Old Rip? Put him on the spot now. He's on the hot seat. Did you have a favorite between those two? If you had to pick?
I don't think you can hear him. He said Old Rip.
Old Rip.
There you go.
So unofficially, Old Rip wins. We can't add that to the record really because his vote was for 107. But off the record, you'll hear it on the streets that the Old Rip won the event for tonight. So there you go. There it is. So. Well, there it is, folks. That is our tasting of the Weller lineup as well as Old Rip. I hope you enjoyed it. And for those of you that got it as a Christmas gift, thank you very much. We appreciate you doing that. And check us out at abvnetwork.com. Find out all that we're doing. We do podcasts and all kinds of media stuff, movies and blogs and all that kind of stuff. A lot of great way to stay attuned with what's going on in the world of bourbon. And of course, we do these events too. So follow us on Eventbrite. My name is Steve Akley. And that's what you need to search for under online events, not local events. So if you're searching local, unless you happen to be in St. Louis, I won't pop up. But if you search online events, I will pop up. And follow us along.
See, what you do is you follow Steve Akley on Eventbrite.
Yep.
And everything comes up.
Then everything comes up, and we do a lot of these kind of events, and they're all over the place from low end to high end things. So check it out. I think we get pretty creative with them. So please follow along, and thank you so much for being involved. I'll shut off the recorder. I do stick around, and we can just chat and talk bourbon. I'm going to be drinking, finishing out my samples. So we like to talk and drink. So we'll do that. But for right now, officially, the event is over. So we'll say goodbye to our folks that are watching this on YouTube. Thanks. Bye.